I've had an on-off relationship with Paul for about 4 years. We met in college and went out. Then when we got jobs, we drifted apart. We met up again a couple of years later at a friend's party and started seeing each other. The trouble was, we were both in other relationships at the time. The more I saw Paul, the more I knew he was the right person for me. I dumped my boyfriend and told Paul I wanted to commit. But there was a huge problem in the way. The problem was his family. They adored Paul's girlfriend, Sandra, and they had never really liked me much. They said I was a bad influence on him, that he could do better than me. Hurtful things. Paul kept saying he was going to leave Sandra and we could be together, but at the same time, he didn't want to risk upsetting his family. He's always been close to his mother, especially since his sister died very young. It was like he was stuck. I got very depressed about the situation. My friends said I was mad. They said Paul was using his family as an excuse to stay with Sandra and still see me on the side. We were sleeping together, and Sandra had no idea. They said he was just using me. I knew that wasn't right. Paul told me he loved me, and I believed him. And even if he was using me, that didn't change the fact I had fallen in love with him and wanted to be with him. What my friends said just made me more depressed. I felt like I was losing them, too. I found your website one night. I honestly can't even remember how. I wasn't looking for spells. Anyway, I stumbled across it and got engrossed in reading the stories from people you had helped. I was open to the idea of a love spell, but my problem was different. Paul said he loved me, so that wasn't the problem. The real problem was his family. That's when I sent you an email to ask if you could help. For the benefit of those watching this, Joshua replied and said he would be willing to cast a spell. So I filled out the request and was really happy when you said yes. When the day of the spell came, I was so nervous I made myself ill. I stayed home from work, and that was probably a mistake because it meant I spent the whole day worrying about what was happening. I forgot that you said it takes all day and all night to do the spell, so when I didn't hear from you immediately, I began to panic and thought you'd forgotten about me. I started sending you emails, and because you didn't reply, because you were still doing the spell, I panicked even more. Eventually, you did write, and you told me the spell had gone well. I was so happy, Joshua. I cried. I started to worry again a few days later. I didn't see Paul, and that was unusual. We normally texted every day and saw each other a few times a week, but he had disappeared. He stopped answering my messages. I wrote to you again, and you said that wasn't unusual. You explained how he would be experiencing very strong emotions and would need some time away from me to process them. It took a few weeks, but one morning everything changed. It really did happen that quickly. One day everything was as it always had been. The next day, Paul was on my doorstep with a bunch of flowers and a suitcase. He said he'd told Sandra it was over, had told his mother about us, and that he was ready to commit to me. He wanted to stay with me right now. I was overjoyed, obviously, but I said, "What about your mother? What about the rest of your family? What did they say when you told them?" He said, "Stuff them." He said he hadn't waited around to find out what they would say. He told me that over the last couple of weeks, he had begun to realize how much he loved me and that he couldn't be happy if he wasn't with me. He said he would rather never see his family again than not be with me. He said if they truly loved him like they said they did, they would come to accept me. And actually, that's what's been happening. Paul didn't hear from his mother for about a week, but then she turned up here and said she wanted to talk, to both of us. She said she had to accept that being with me was what made him happy, and the most important thing for her was that her son was happy. I wouldn't say me and Paul's family are best of friends now. They tolerate me. It's getting better, bit by bit. The magic worked, Joshua. Everything Paul has told me since we've been properly together lines up perfectly with the spell. From the day you cast it, he said he had been overwhelmed with love for me. He said he couldn't stop thinking about me. He said the crunch came when he accidentally called Sandra Meghan. That made everything come out in the open. He confessed to her about me and told her it was over. I'll be grateful to you until the end of my days, Joshua. Your spell is magical in every way. Paul already loved me, but he needed that extra push to make him realize it and to overcome the objections of his family.